Please remember that all the opinions in the show are those of the host and should only be taken as food for thought. We're in no way telling you to do anything. Everything is kept anonymous for the safety of the listeners and no information is shared to anyone else. If you are easily offended by people's opinions or views, then thank you for making it this far, but this is not the podcast for you, so see you later. And please enjoy the rest of the show. So my next one is the Papin sisters.
The what sisters?
Papin, Papin. Yeah, Papin, that's their name. Christine and Léa Papin. Two French sisters. I'm doing a lot of French stuff lately, aren't I? Two French sisters who were living maids were convicted of murdering their employer's wife and daughter in Le Mans on February 2nd, 1933. The murder had a significant influence in French intellectuals and considered symbolic in class struggle by the leftists. So this whole thing is about being pushed too far and like snapping.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but it says the case formed a basis of publications, plays, films, and as well as essays, spoken word, songs, and artwork. I tell you, Christine looks rough. It's like she's had enough. So a little bit about them. It says that they were born in Le Mans, and while her mum was dating their dad, it was rumored that she was having an affair with her employer. However, after she became pregnant, they got married, and 5 minutes later, they had their first daughter, which I don't think is very relevant.
Yeah, very. That shows how little information they got on them.
Yeah. I just thought I'd say that because obviously they've come from quite a strange background. Like if their mum was having an affair and then blah blah blah. Obviously their childhood starts off badly already.
Yeah.
Léa. Oh, we'll start with Christine. Christine was born on the 8th, 1905. However, her mother was considered not to be nurturing and deemed unsuitable as a mother. Christine was given to a parental aunt and uncle soon after birth. She lived happily for 7 years. Léa, who was born on September 15, 1911, was given to a marital uncle, whom she remained until he died in 1912. When Emmy was 9 and 10 years old, it was alleged that Gustave raped her. We've got these French names now, and like people being raped and things. I just want to know about Léa. During Christine's time in the orphanage, she would also receive the calling to become a nun. Claimants forbid this. Instead of placing her in employment, Christine had been trained in various household duties in the convent, eased her into becoming a living maid. Christine was described as hard-working, a good cook who could be insubordinate at times. Léa was described as quiet, introverted, and obedient, but was considered less intelligent than Christie. So it sounds to me like there's obviously one that's like dominant.
Yeah, as always, there normally is with these type of crimes.
Yeah. So crimes. Christine and Léa found living positions as maids for a rich family. He was a retired solicitor. His wife, Madame, French name, and their young daughter lived in the house. After a few months of excellent service, Christine convinced Madame to hire Léa as a chambermaid. The Papin sisters dedicated their lives to work long days during their job. However, some years after Christine and Léa started working for the family, Madame in the house developed depression and the Papins became the target of her mental illness. She began to scrutinize the cleaning and become critical of the job done. There were various occasions that the Madame physically assaulted them. The abuse worsened at its peak. She would slam the sisters' heads against the walls.
If you was working for this woman, I would tell her to shove her job up her ass.
Yeah, fuck that.
And move on, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. This is what interesting about this case, which I was reading it, because they had a troubled childhood, but really they were just doing their job.
Mm.
and they're just being abused, and then it's just like snapping.
Yeah, it brings it back out.
Yeah. On the evening of Thursday, February 2nd, the fella was supposed to meet Madam for dinner at the home of a family friend, but they had been out shopping all day. And when they returned home that afternoon, no lights were on in the house. The Papin sisters explained that Madam let the power outage had been caused by Christine plugging a faulty iron. The Madam of the house became irritated and attacked the sisters on the first floor landing. Christine lunged at her and gouged her eyes out. Leah joined in the struggle and attacked her, gouging her eyes out as ordered by Christine. Christine ran downstairs to the kitchen where she retrieved a knife and a hammer. She brought both weapons upstairs where the sisters continued their attack. At some point, one of the sisters grabbed a heavy pewter pitcher, I don't know what that is, and used it to strike the heads of both the women. In the midst of the rage, they mutilated their buttocks and thighs of the victims. What's with the buttocks and thighs? Sometime later, the man in the house returned home to find the house dark. He assumed his wife and daughter had left for the dinner party and proceeded to party himself. When he arrived at his friend's home, he found that they had not been there. When he returned to the residence at approximately 6:30, 7 o'clock, when they discovered the entire house still dark except the light from the sister's room, the front door was bolted shut from the inside, so they were unable to enter the house. The two men found it suspicious and went to the local police to summon an officer. Together, they returned to the home where the policeman made entry of the house and climbed over the garden wall. Once inside, he found the bodies of the mum and the daughter. They had been bludgeoned and stabbed to the point of being unrecognizable. The mum's eyes had been gouged out and was found in the folds of a scarf around her neck, and one of the daughter's eyes was found under her body and another on the stairs in the hallway. Thinking that the Papin sisters had met the same fate, the policeman continued upstairs to find the door of the Papin sisters' room locked. After the officer knocked but received no response, he summoned the locksmith to open the door. Inside the room, he found the Papin sisters naked in bed together and a bloody hammer with the hair still clinging on it on a chair nearby. Under questioning, the sisters immediately confessed to the killing. Why are they naked?
They obviously got horny afterwards and went upstairs and committed some weird fucking sex.
It says that the sisters confessed to the murder immediately. However, they claimed that it had been committed in self-defense. During the trial, the sisters protected each other and each confessed sole responsibility for the crimes committed. The sisters were placed in prison and separated from each other. Christine became extremely distressed because she could not see Leah. At one point, prisoner officers relented and allowed the two sisters to meet. Christine reportedly threw herself at Leah, unbuttoned her blouse, and begged her, please say yes, suggesting an incestual sexual relationship.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's fucking mental, isn't it? Christine experienced a fit or episode in which she tried to gouge her own eyes out and had to be put in a straitjacket. She then made a statement to the investigating magistrate in which she had that on the day of the murder she had experienced an episode just like this one she had in prison, and this is what started the murders. The sisters chose lawyer pleading not guilty for the reason insanity on behalf of them. Christine and Leah demonstrated signs of mental illness such as limited eye contact and staring straight ahead, appearing to be in a daze. The court appointed 3 doctors to evaluate the sisters, determining their mental state. They included that 2 had no mental disorders and deemed them sane and fit to stand trial. They also believed that Christine's affection for her sister was based on family ties, not an incestual relationship, as others had suggested. However, on September 1933, medical testimony noted a history of mental illness within the family, and the uncle had died of suicide, where their cousin was living in an asylum. It said that they both suffered from shared paranoid disorder, which is believed to have occurred when groups of pairs of people are isolated from the world, developing paranoia, and in which one partner demonstrates the other. This was especially true to Leah, whose meek personality was overshadowed by the abstained and dominating Christine. So there you go. That's what we were saying. What does it say happened to him? deaths. The separation from Leah proved to be too much for Christine. Her condition deteriorated rapidly once they were apart. She had written various letters pleading to Leah, however, her wish was to not be granted. She experienced bouts of depression and madness. Prisoners transferred her to a mental institute, hoping that she would get professional help. She separated from Leah. She continued to starve herself until she died of wasting away in 1937, where Leah fared better than Christine, serving only 8 years of her 10-year sentence due to good behaviour. Being released in 1941, she lived in the town of Nettles, where she was joined by her mother. She assumed a false identity and earned a living as a hotel maid. So she went back to her job.
She went back to being a maid.
She went back to being a maid, yeah.
Fucking hell.
Fucking brilliant.
10 years for gouging someone's eyes out. Ain't that bad, though, is it? Fuck me.
And then
It shows
mutilating
that
their buttocks.
we was always quite soft to a certain point.
Yeah.
Listen.
But there's always that one part, like one sister or partner or whatever, that is just going along with
Yeah.
whatever's happening.
When there's
you know what I mean?
a lot of the time when there's like a duo when it comes to killing, one of them's like almost serving the other one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I felt for this one because it's how I'm sure you and I feel at work. Like I could just fucking snap.
Oh mate, there's been times where you feel like you visualize yourself doing shit like that, and then all of a sudden you're back in the room and you're fucking standing there just fist balled, fucking wanting to kill someone.
Yeah. So I don't know how I felt about this one. Like, obviously they murdered a mum and a daughter, but the mum was like slamming their fucking heads against the wall. Like, in a way, it was self-defense, and in a way, it's sort of like you could have just got out of there.
Yeah, they could have got out of there, and in my eyes as well, how fair was that trial when it was a rich person that's been killed
Yeah.
by their help? I don't know
Yeah.
how fair that trial would be, especially in France.
It felt a little bit like was that TV show, The Maid's Tale?
Handmaid's Tale, yeah.
A Maid's Tale, yeah. It felt like that, where like the maids are sort of, they're not maids, are they? They're slaves. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's what it felt like.